There is a discussion who will build the third Beis Hamikdash. It seems from different Midrashim and from the Rambam that Mashiach is going to build it. One of the things that show Mashiach is Mashiach is that he's able to build the Beis Hamikdash. He's able to build the Beis Hamikdash. It seems the Mashiach will build the Beis Hamikdash.
That's one opinion. One opinion is
So we're going to see now the Gemara in Sukkah. And Rashi and Tosfos derive from this Gemara that the Beis Hamikdash will be built from Shemayim. Will come down from Shemayim. Let's take a look. The Gemara over here, interesting Gemara. The Gemara is talking about Chadash. The Carbon HaOmer. The Carbon HaOmer we know was brought on the second day, on Tez Zayin Nisan. 16th day in Nisan, the Carbon HaOmer is brought. Now, after the Carbon HaOmer is brought, one is allowed to use all the wheat, the barley that was
start going.
That was growing, all the wheat that was growing from the year before. Now it becomes Yashan. Until now it was Chadash, the new crop. After Tez Zayin Nisan, after the bringing of the Omer, it becomes Yashan. And now anything that grows afterwards is called Chadash. Till the next year it's Asr to eat. That's the halacha is that's the idea of Chadash and Yashan. Now today we don't have a Beis Hamikdash. So what is the halacha when there's no Beis Hamikdash? When does the Omer become mutter to eat? So Min HaTorah, that morning, it should be okay. The morning the 16th, we don't have a carbon, so we're not waiting for a carbon to be brought. Hits the morning, it's sunrise of the morning of 16th of Nisan, the Chadash should be mutter. I'm going to see that the B'yechem Mezake made a takana that the whole entire day of the 16th should be Asa. The whole entire day of the 16th, when they used to wave the Carbon HaOmer, bring the Carbon HaOmer, should be Asr until the next day. You have to wait until the 17th, the Chadash. That's the halacha. You have to wait until the 17th. Why did he make this takana? To see, because in the times of the Beis Hamikdash, you have to wait until the Carbon HaOmer is brought. Till the Carbon HaOmer is sacrificed, is brought, then one is allowed to partake of the wheat that grew this past year. Mm-hmm. The wheat all becomes yasha and old. Now, however, when there's no Beis Hamikdash, so then it's really from the morning. As soon as it hits sunrise, you're allowed to partake. There's no Carbon HaOmer to wait for. However, the problem is, what happens if the Beis Hamikdash will be built right then by Carbon HaOmer? People will say, last year they won't know the halacha, they won't remember the halacha. Say, last year, as soon as it became sunrise, we ate our wheat. It was no longer Chadash. This year, they won't remember the halacha that when there's a Beis Hamikdash, you have to wait
till the end of the day.
Until the Carbon HaOmer is brought.
Right, it could be middle of the day, it could be forever.
Carbon HaOmer.
Right.
So, the year 4, he said the day of Yom HaNoif, the day they're bringing the Carbon HaOmer should be also the entire day. Only start the next day. Let's take a look, read it along, the Mishnah. Sukkah, V'yadaf Mem Aleph, Mesnis in the middle of the page. B'rishayin in the beginning, Hayelulav, Nitel, B'mikdash, Shiva. The lulav will be taken in the Beis Hamikdash for 7 days. Over Medina, outside of the Beis Hamikdash, Yishalayim, and outside, Yem Echad, lulav will be taken in HaTorah for 1 day, L'kacht and Lechem, by Yem Rishon. It was only for 1 day. Yishachar Beis Hamikdash, and the Beis Hamikdash became destroyed. Hiskin, Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai, Yochanan ben Zakkai ben Takana, Shehei, Lulav Nitel b'Medina Shiva. Zeicher l'mikdash. And even outside of the Beis HaMikdash, the lulav should be taken for 7 days, and that's a zeicher to the mikdash. And that's what we do today. Why do we take the lulav for 7 days? It's a zeicher for the mikdash. Reality is only the first day is Minhat Torah. In the Beis HaMikdash, all the 7 days were Minhat Torah. But outside of the Beis HaMikdash, we didn't have to do it at all. But now, Zeichel HaMikdash, we all do 7 days.
We don't do everything in our mitzvot is Zecher LaMikdash. Almost everything.
Yeah, a lot of things Zeichel HaMikdash.
Hillel HaZaken, HaYakochna V'Ochna.
A lot of things, yeah. Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai was the one who was Masakin a lot of takonas. And this Mishnah mentions 2 of them. The reason why the Mishnah mentions 2 of them is because these 2 he made together.
The lulav and the...
And now the next thing that he enacted, a takon he made, Vishehei Yoim Hanoif Kulei also. The day of the Noif, Hanoif means the day of Hanafa, the waving of the Karban Oimer. The entire day should be also to eat the wheat, the Chadash, until the ending of the day. Once the day has passed, 16th day of Nisan has passed, only then can one partake of the past year's crop. It all becomes Yashan, and anything grown afterwards is Chadash.
What kind of din is the Hanafa?
The Karban Oimer was waved before it was brought onto the Mizbeach. It had to be waved. Maila, Umayrid, Meila, Chamevi, all the directions. That when they did the Hanafas Oimer,
Like a lulav.
that was matir, the crop, the old tavua beaten. So now the Gemara says like this. Let's take a line into the Gemara, 5 lines into the Gemara. The Gemara says by the 2 dots. The Gemara says Shehei Yom Hanoif. Shehei Yom Hanoif. Says the Gemara, my timer. The line starts with Mem Tes, Vashatevis. My time, what's the reason why Rabbi Yochanan Mazaki made this takana? That the entire day of the Karban should be Asr. Seemingly, should all be mutter. Let's take a look, before we go further, let's take a look at Rashi actually. Before we go to the Gemara, good to learn the Rashi over here. The Rashi is in the Mishnah, B'Shehei Yom Hanoif. The right side, Shehei Yom Hanoif, it's a little bit longer Rashi on the Mishnah. Shehei Yom Hanoif Shel Oimer, the day of the waving of the Oimer, Hainetezai Nissen Kulei Aser B'Chadash, should be entirely Aser with eating the Chadash. Ba'oid HaMikdash Kayom, when the Beis HaMikdash was here, Mishakar of Oimer, when the Oimer carbon was brought, and that very day itself, they were allowed to eat. If they brought it at 10, they were allowed to eat at 10, 11 at 11. They were allowed to start eating the old crop. Ad Haviyachem says in the pasuk clearly, until you bring it. Ad Haviyachem. Meshachar of Abayis, when the Beis HaMikdash is destroyed, Motor Minhat Torah, it's Motor Mishaher Mizrach. Well, there's no carbon Oimer. So when are we going to say the Chadash becomes Motor to eat, and now the Chadash becomes Yasham? Mishaher Mizrach. When the east becomes lit up, it's sunrise, Kedamar v'Menachas, then it's good. What does it say in Menachas?
Well, did they daven first?
But it's mutter for someone who needed to use it. The woman wanted to cook, to bake.
For bison before davening.
Kasvechad oimer ad etzamei mazeh. One pasuk says until that very day itself. Dahainu heya mizrach. That until that very day, Chadash is aser. It says till that day, seems to be till that morning. Kasvechad oimer. Another pasuk says ad aviyachem, until you bring the oimer. So how do you reconcile both? Is it from that morning? Etzamei mazeh. That's matter the oimer, the Chadash, or ad aviyachem till you actually bring it.
Well,
Kate said, how could he do it?
It was only when the bais is kohen.
Oh, so that's what the Menachas teaches. Kate said, how do we work it out? When there's a oimer brought, a carbon oimer is a Beis HaMikdash ad aviyachem. When the carbon oimer is brought, then it's mutter. When there's no Beis HaMikdash, no carbon oimer, then ad etzem until that very day itself. Until that morning.
Right.
The morning. So you have a heter. When there's no Beis HaMikdash, it's mutter already right from the morning. So you don't have to wait. There's no carbon oimer to wait for. What did the B'Yechem Mazaki do? But also B'Yechem Mazaki aleim kol hayoyim. He went and he asked the entire day.
Zeichel HaMikdash.
No, just in case.
We'll see in a second why. We'll see in the Mikdash it wasn't Aser a whole day. It was Aser when they brought the carbon oimer. He did something different. He went and asked the whole day. Okay, the Mefarish, time of Gemara, the Gemara is going to explain the reason. And now we're going to the Gemara. So the Gemara says, my timer, about 5 lines into the Gemara. 6 lines. My timer, the Gemara starts, Meheiri Yibana Beis HaMikdash. And Mir Hashem, soon the Beis HaMikdash is going to be built. And people will say, they won't remember the halacha. Remember, it didn't last year, last year, we ate right in the morning. So obviously this morning also it's okay. So as soon as it hits morning, they're going to start eating
When was built? They're fighting over for a couple hours.
Using the wheat. Hashtanami nechol. And now also we could eat. V'noliyadi, and they won't know. The shtak idle have a Beis HaMikdash heir mizrachiter. Last year when there was no Beis HaMikdash, that's why it was mutter from heir mizrach. Because right as soon as it became sunrise, it became mutter. But
we say a Mola is there's Hashem. Once the Mashiach's going to come, Mola there's, no one's going to be an Amaretz. Everyone's going to know that look.
When was the Mashiach was filled? 10 o'clock
That
in the morning?
day.
10 o'clock in the morning?
Yeah.
So what's the problem? Last year they ate 7 o'clock in the morning. This year, like, it doesn't make sense.
Last year it was Mehoyer before there was a Beis HaMikdash. So they ate it right at Alois Shach or Neitzacham.
And this year, let's say Mashiach.
Now you have to go and build first. You have to first bring a carbon.
So how long did it take to build the Beis HaMikdash?
The Beis HaMikdash was built before Shavuos. Let's say it was built before Shavuos on Pesach. Now comes the first day of Pesach.
Yeah.
It was born Erev Pesach. It was built Erev Pesach. It was born whatever. Now you come. So people will start eating oim right away because last year they ate right away.
But when was that day they finished the Beis HaMikdash?
We don't know. We don't know when it was built.
What's the Abba mean for the Gemara? That's what I'm saying. Like, what's the Abba mean for the
One
Gemara?
minute, let's not jump. The Gemara itself is going to work out the cheshbon. Let's wait for a second. So what the Maisa, what Rabbi Yechim Zaki was concerned was,
The people will make a mistake from last year.
they're going to say we're always used to all the years of Gullus. As soon as it hits the morning, people just get up and they start using their chadash. It's shkoyach. It's enough. Thank you. So they're already using it. They're gonna forget the halacha that was a special din during Gullus.
Because it's Golos.
That's a mayem hazeh. But they're not gonna realize the pasuk is ad v'yachem, that when there's a Beis HaMikdash you have to wait ad v'yachem. They're gonna think that's the normal seder. They're not gonna realize that Beis HaMikdash things change. The halacha changes. L'gabi the carbon oimer being mat, dafkum the carbon oimer being mat.
So
if we answer the whole day, Amei Aretz, well, that's a good kasha. But in Geras HaKodesh and Tanya, Alter Rebbe asks kasha. Alter Rebbe says that Eina Chanami, that Tzadikim and Tamid Chachamim will know the Torah, will know everything, but Amei Aretz won't. Amei Aretz will still have to learn Nigla. Shaila is who's going. If they have to learn Nigla, they're only going to be learning Pnimius HaTorah. All the halachas are going to still exist. Shaila is if from the Pnimius HaTorah, the Avis, they knew the side of the Torah, they were Nevi'im, and their Chamela, they knew how to fear they knew how to the halacha.
It said, Olam Kiminhago Noheg. Everything will be the same.
Yeah, halacha is going to be halacha, yeah.
What it says is the trees are going to give out food. There's going to be food already on the trees.
So according to the Rambam, the way that Rebbe explains is, and others also say this, I'm saying that to the Rambam you have to say there's two periods in the Rambam. The Rambam is only discussing the first period before Tchias HaMesim. The Rambam doesn't even mention Tchias HaMesim. The Rambam is discussing before Tchias HaMesim. Once Tchias HaMesim happens, a lot of things are going to be happening, very interesting things.
When it says
The Rambam discusses Yemais HaMashiach. Yemais HaMashiach before Tchias HaMesim.
when it says that in like the Yom Yom that a person's going to walk on the ground, it's nothing if the ground's going to scream at him.
According to the Rambam, it's going to be in the second period. Some say that even the Rambam, when the Rambam says, even the Rambam Seder is only when Mashiach will come, not early. It will come when it's be'ita. It will come when it's time. It won't be brought earlier, and that's the normal Seder. If it's brought back Chishena, it's brought early, things will be a totally different way. The Rambam wasn't talking about the Seder, what will be. It will be back Chishena. Because,
Learn Sanhedrin, which way then?
What?
Like, is he going to come, which way, how Mashiach's going to come? Is it because we'll need him to come? Right away?
it's like Ani Reichav al Chamor. The Gemara asks, is it going to be Ani Reichav al Chamor, or is it going to be Arum and Anashmai? It's going to be in the clouds. The Gemara says, if it's going to be
But if it's going to be then it's going to know right away the
That's one
ground's going to
thing.
scream at you. What?
if
Eating
he
chodesh or can't eat chodesh?
if he knows the halacha be'etzem hayom hazeh,
No.
Yeah.
and he knows the day when
Try
he's
to
supposed
imagine
to
the
eat,
According to some days.
but wouldn't he
You have
also
an
know
idea,
that
you know,
this
the
is? He
ground's
already
gonna
knows
be
the
yellow.
leap.
Well, that's the Talmud Chacham. Most of Klal Yisrael just
No,
does
no,
things with
that's
that different
Klal
hagim. They know. They know the
yeah,
calendar. We
you
know
know,
16 in the morning. We all the luach says 16 in the morning. We can have it. You know. Now the Beis Hamikdash comes, they have to learn that. We have to go teach them halachas. We have to teach them all
They're
kinds
not,
of.
they're not eating right away because of the etzem.
Ain't a chanami that's
They just know that's the minute. But they still, you know, I'm just saying something.
Yeah.
They
It's not
already.
based. It's not based on the ultimate Chacham.
And make it a corner, no.
But one
No.
thing is, they already know. They know that this day is the day for Kaddish. I mean, it's a big thing because people are hungry.
Right. Yeah. People are
So
waiting.
they're waiting. Even if you're on March, you're waiting.
Yeah, they want to use their crap.
It's a lot
Right.
of
So
men.
that- yeah.
Okay, so Rabbi say,
What?
ask the Gemara like this. The Gemara asked her, the Ivni Emas. The line starts with the word Emas.
Even the ground's gonna yell at them.
8 lines from the bottom. The Gemara asks like this. The Ivni Emas. When Rabbi Yochanan Mazaki that has this concern, when was the Beis HaMikdash built that he has this concern? At what time? The Ivni Emas. When was it built? Elam, if you say the Ivni Vishitzar, if you say it was built
On the
on the 16th, that day, on that day itself, 16th Nisan, Hari Hitter Hari Mizrach. The morning already came, so the Beis Hamikdash was not around in the morning. So in the morning, it was sunrise that morning of the 16th. It already became mutter.
Right.
The Chadash is already mutter. So what's going to make a difference? The Beis
When
Hamikdash is built
exactly
later.
was
It's not
built,
Aser.
Right.
If the Beis Hamikdash is built in the middle of the day,
Yeah.
16th. So that meant in the morning, the Beis
was
Hamikdash is
already
not
mutter.
here yet.
It was
So
already-
obviously the halacha is Heir Mizrach. As soon as the morning it's light, it's fine.
Yeah.
So there's no shy. There's nothing to be concerned about. They can eat.
Right.
Okay, so it can't be talking about that it was built on that day. Ela de Ibn B'chameser. So rather you're going to tell me when was the Beis Hamikdash built? On the 15th.
Why
On-
can't you say that the fact that it's going to be built, if someone feels that it's going to be built in that, why isn't that good enough to postpone it?
No, until there's a Beis
Then
Hamikdash,
now.
there's no Ad Aviyachem. There's no din Ad Aviyachem. They have to wait till the carbonate is brought until there's a Beis Hamikdash.
Even if you know, meaning you
Yeah,
can't,
even I know-
who's
even-
maskers, they're getting rid of Amalek, there's
Even
a
if
tiny...
I know.
Even if
I
you
know.
know?
Yeah. There's no Beis Hamikdash. You can't. The Omer becomes mutter right away in the morning. That's the drasha. Ad Aviyachem is only.
Uh-huh.
Now, Ella, rather you're going to tell me Imnu Chameser. The Beis Hamikdash, Rabbi Yochanan was concerned in a case where the Beis Hamikdash was built on the 15th. Says the Gemara Ebazoi, I have a better answer. Why did he ask for the whole day of Yom HaNoif? Just ask until Chatzos. Just tell Yidden you can't have until Chatzos. After Chatzos you can have. Me Chatzos hayom olahalan tishtri. From Chatzos on it should become mutter. Why not? That's an we learned in a Mishnah. Haricheikim mutarim me Chatzos hayom olahalon. She'ein bezem is atzlan boy. In the times of the Beis Hamikdash, they didn't have telephones, email, text. How did they get the message across? People live far away when the Omer was brought. They need to know. They need to know when they could start partaking of the Chadash. How could they know? They're so far away. So they knew. They wait till Chatzos because there was, a Bezdin was never lazy to bring it past Chatzos. They always did it before Chatzos of the day. Maybe because it's recent. Whatever it was, it wasn't past Chatzah. You have a chance to do a mitzvah, they did it before Chatzah. They had a whole day up Yalacha to do it. Whole 16th day. It doesn't say in Torah any time during the day. But a Bezin, Lashon is, She'ein Bezin is Atzlan Bay. The Bezin was not lazy with it. They took care of it in the morning.
So Bachatzot for sure.
So therefore, those that were Rechoikim far away, who did not know when was the Haviyachem,
I thought they would know.
Yeah.
they said they would just wait for Chatzos. That's it. Chatzos and on it's for sure good. Those that were in Yeshalayim, those that are close to the Beis
They saw.
Hamikdash, they actually
If they-
heard,
no,
saw. You know, if they wanted to partake earlier, they could go and find out when it was done. The word spread around. People in the area, the nearby areas knew. Far away, they waited till Chatzos. So says the Gemara, why did Yochanan Zaki make the entire
The whole
day
day.
aser?
Yeah.
Just ask it till Chatzos. That will deal with all the shilas. Because even if the Beis Hamikdash is built on the 15th, right, and people don't know the halacha, right, so you're worried they might have partake in the morning. Good, so just make that every year in Galus, you have to wait till Chatzos. that take care of all the problems. Because even if there is a Beis
But
Hamikdash
who says the
that we
Beis
built on the 15th,
But who says the base of Mikdash will be come by Chatzos?
In the case that it did, this is all hypothetical. The case that it did.
If it did, but
Hey,
we don't.
there's-
I say we don't know, but they're making Gezerah. We don't know when the base of Mikdash.
No,
will
but it
come.
has to apply to a case where they can't make a mistake. You know, in other words, the Chodesh starts on that day on Tesvav.
Right.
So
Right.
And building.
and so you go to the worst case scenario. This is the worst case scenario.
so now the Gemara answers like this. We'll tell you why Rabbi Yochanan asked for the whole day. Loi tzricha. No, we need Rabbi Yochanan. In which case, do what is Rabbi Yochanan referring to? Fourth line from the bottom. The Ivni Belelia. It was built at the night. Until now, the Gemara gave an option either the 16th or the 15th. Now he says it's in the night going into the 16th, the night of the 16th.
That's B'dikas Cham. No, that's
No,
Yom Tov.
no, it's the
That's
second
Yom
night of Yom
Tov.
Tov. Not in Eretz Yisrael, but in Chutz La'aretz, yeah?
Yeah.
Right? Second night of Yom Tov. So the 16th by night. Lel Tazayin. What would happen if it's Lel Tazayin? Rabbi Yochanan Mizaki was concerned if the Beis Hamikdash is built Lel Tazayin, it's going to take time. It takes a while. You got to get the Karban Omer ready. It's late. You got to get the Karban Omer ready, and they're gonna take time till they build the Beis Hamikdash, and they're gonna have to work hard to get the Omer. They have to dry the Omer, and they need to grind it, to wave it, and to sift it, and everything. It's a process. So it's very possible, because of the specialty of this year, that it won't be ready. The Omer will not be ready by Chatzos. In a normal year, when there's a Beis Hamikdash, Chazal, the Beis Ein Bezim is Atzlon Boy. They were never lazy with it. It was always by Chatzos. In this case, they have no choice. The Beis Hamikdash is built by night. Things are delayed. Things might not be ready till the ending of the day, right? The Karban Omer.
Yes, we even
So
more.
therefore, Rabbi Yochanan Bazaki said
The whole day.
a whole day.
But one
In
second.
case such a situation,
The Kohanim was rizim him, just like the.
they have no choice.
No.
It's not their responsibility. The Beis Hamikdash came by night.
There was
Mashiach came by
Sadiq.
night.
I know, but there was Sadiq, and they had their fingernails cut, and they had this special suit.
Right,
So
but
these Kohanim shouldn't be different than the Chavetz Chaim. They should have their Omer ready every year.
it's a good kasha. Maybe they can't even have the Ksiras Omer until there's a Beis Hamikdash. Al
You
Kopanim.
think so somewhere?
The Satmaruv, the first
The Gemara
Satmaruv.
goes on and
Even the
says,
first Satmaruv, he had it in his every night. He went to sleep with his bed.
Inami.
Even serious Omer, it take a whole process.
The Gemara says further,
Remember,
Inami
get it ready.
Samach Hashkiyas
The
Acham.
Kohen go to the field.
Another
have to say something.
another answer. Inami Samach Hashkiyas Acham. This answer is not that actually at night. Taka could be it's on the 15th. It's the same answer as the first answer. Just it could be it was on the 15th itself, just
Right.
close to Shkiyas Achama. So it's so late in the day, so it wasn't enough time to get everything prepared. So either it's on the night itself of the 16th, or it's on the 15th Taka, but it wasn't the beginning of the 15th, it was at the ending of the day of the 15th, before Shkia. Therefore, there wouldn't be enough time to get everything prepared. They wouldn't make it by Chatzos. Because of this possible situation, therefore, Yochanan Zaki answered for all of times, all of Yom Hanoif.
Amazing.
The entire Yom Hanoif. Because in Meheri Yibana Beis Hamikdash.
Yeah, but
What did they do in
Unbelievable.
Australia? What did the Jews do in Australia? If Yom Tov
First
came
of
into them
all-
before
First of all, Chadash, according to many sheets, is only Asar Eretz Yisrael, right? But according to the other sheets, the whole is in Chutz La'aretz.
right?
So
They went through Yom Tov without Chad.
no, we also have to wait. You have to wait every place Lefi and Yanni. You have to wait for the whole
I'm saying,
16.
so they could not.
Whole Yom Tov. Yeah.
No, I'm saying Lost Lovai. Mashiach's going to come, and they're going to bring the korban. It's going to matter everyone else to eat Chadash. What if the Yidden are living in Australia?
Well, when Mashiach comes, there won't be any Jews in Australia.
Who said? Sure, there will be. They have to. They're going to be organizing fights.
Another thing is, there's an order. The first thing Mashiach comes, then he has to gather, then he has to kill a Malik, then he has to build a base of Mikdash.
All right, but it's still going to be Jews.
No, my
Okay.
question is, with all these things happening, don't they know already? Let's start prepping already. I mean, once you see
Well,
a
they're
Malik,
first going to have to make sure.
They're busy with a lot of things.
Yeah.
You know, and they got to
Yeah,
get
no,
it's also the
it's-
Rechaikim.
do they know?
You have to deal with the Rechaikim.
You know there is a Machon in Yerushalayim that made the clothes for the Kohenim?
Now, Rabbi say,
Yeah,
Machon in Yerushalayim.
Yeah, it's
they
already
make
a
the
few
clothing
years.
already.
and they also
They're
have,
ready.
Yeah.
and they also have the Aaron
right.
Abris.
Whatever, they're ready.
No, that they didn't do.
It just got vandalized. Someone vandalized it.
Wait.
they made a. It's not the real one, but they made a model of the Mishkan that they would carry.
Yeah, but it wasn't.
And someone ruined it. Someone destroyed
it wasn't gold though.
I understand. It was a
Okay.
model. I said it was
No,
a
but the
model.
menorah was actually solid gold.
Yeah.
They made a
Well,
real-
that's-
Yeah, mixtures up.
Yeah.
I mean,
You seen
Yeah,
it?
it's
You
on
been there?
display in the old city.
You been there to see it?
Yeah,
It's on
I know
display.
the people involved in that place. I was actually myself involved with these people.
Uh-huh. Very interesting.
They leave
I
Beis
was involved
Hamikdash
with these
any minute.
people who go up to the Harabayit also.
yeah.
So there's a lot of talk about a lot of that's written about this issue. Whether or not even you don't have to have Mashiach to build the Beit Hamikdash. If you just learn Rambam,
I saw him washing the Koyanim's hands. That he's a Levi. There's a picture.
No,
of
there's
him
a
washing-
shita, yeah.
A picture of him on Yom Kippur washing the Koyan's hands.
Picture?
I'm just kidding.
And now behind.
Okay, so the boy said we're going to get carried away. So Maisa,
I'm sure Chassidus explained this. The Shkia Sachama.
Even one of the a very chashuv Lubavitcher, Yitzchak Ginsburg, went up on the Harabayit. And he made it for bring, and then he came down.
This answer
So
the Gemara
Maisa-
says is Inami Samuch L'Shkia Sachama. Probably Chassidus explained that what means Samuch L'Shkia. It must be like a deep
So-
answer.
the Maisa Zoi. There's a very big kasha over here. The very big kasha is, how will the Beis HaMikdash be built on... You're not allowed to build the Beis HaMikdash by night. It's a halacha, b'yoyim hokim es HaMishkan. It has to be made by Yoim, the Beis HaMikdash. So over here, the first answer to the Gemara is it should be built by night. The night is 16th. It's not Yom Tif in Eretz Yisrael. One day Yom Tif, not Yom Tif. It's not Pesach. It's not the first night of Pesach. It's not the first day of Pesach, but it's night. So how could the Beis HaMikdash be built by night?
It's a machlekes where the original
Second of all, the question is, according to the second answer, that it will be built on the 15th before Shkia, which is Pesach, the first day of Pesach. You're not allowed to build on Yom Tif.
Exactly.
So the Rashi asked this kasha.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And because of these kashas, Rashi says the third Beis HaMikdash is not going to be built by humans.
Yeah.
It's coming from Maila. It's coming down.
And a base of meat.
So all these kashas, you can't start asking kashas. You can't start asking kashas. Ain't bainim b'Yom Tif, ain't bainim b'Malayla. Let's see Rashi inside.
It's
The
a
last-
machlekes. It's a
Hashem
machlekes.
keeps Shabbos. How can he take it out of the Rishos HaShemayim into the Rishos HaYachid?
When Mashiach comes, we'll ask that question.
Inami. Let's take a look at Rashi. 4 lines from the bottom. 4 lines from the.
In the white layer.
It's Muksa. It'll be Muksa for us.
It says in the Gemara, even Erev Shabbos.
Inami. 4
That's
lines
what
from the bottom.
comes from the Gemara.
Inami. The second answer to the Gemara was the Ivni b'Chameisar. Taka would be built on the 15th. Samol Shkia Sachama. It says Rashi, he, and this answer is the same as the previous answer. Previous answer gave us an option of that night of the 16th. The second answer says even it could be on the 15th, just very close to night. So it'll be so late, they won't have time. The kasha, if you're going to ask me, the balayla in nivna, the Allah is now built by night, the kaimalam b'shvois, and the aim, we learn in Gemara Shavuos, ain't being in Beis HaMikdash balayla. T'chsevu b'yoyim hakim. Now allowed to build the Beis HaMikdash by night. It's in the pasuk b'yoyim hakim that on the day you have to build the Mishkan. But look, now another problem is you can't build it. V'loi b'chametzer. And according to the first answer, the second answer, the second answer, it's on the 15th before Shkia. V'loi b'chametzer, you can't build on the 15th Shu Yom Tif. The kaim l'b'shvu is the binyan Beis HaMikdash doichi Yom Tif. The building Beis HaMikdash is not push off Yom Tif. You can't push off Yom Tov and Shabbos. In Parshas Vayakel, in the beginning of Parshas Vayakel, we talk about the Mishkan. It says about Shabbos.
The Malacha talks about the
Malacha
Malacha.
Shabbos, and the right away the Mefarshim say, why do we talk about Shabbos over here? To tell you, Mishkan doesn't push off Shabbos and Yom Tov. Says the answers Rashi, Hani Mili Binyim Habani B'dei Adam. This refers to the Beis HaMikdash, a building which is going to be built through humans. Avol Mikdash Ha'asid, Shalom Mitzapin, the Mikdash in the future that we're looking forward to, Bani Mishluchlo. Hu Yigala V'Yav Mishemayim, Shenemer Mikdash Hashem, Kain Liyadecha.
What are they going to do with that?
Going to come down fully renovated and built from Shemayim.
What are they lechin upon him?
Mikdash Hashem, Kain Liyadecha. Hashem already established the Mikdash.
And the lechin
This really
upon him?
comes from, there is a Medrash Tanchuma who says this. Rashi's actually bringing this idea to answer this Gemara. Explains, he doesn't quote the name of a medrash, but he's just explaining this Gemara. Don't be bothered by these shilas, Laila and Yom. Both answer their problems. The first answer is a problem, it's the night. It's not Yom Tif, but it's night. And the second answer that says it's on the 15th is a problem that it's based on Yom Tif. So both of them answer one thing. It's building Hashem. All these rules about not building by night, not building Yom Tif, are for human beings. But for Hashem, He has his own rules. He can do it on Yom Tif. He can.
One more clue.
Oh no, you're right.
Right? Kahanim, in order to be tar, you had there's a certain amount. You learn tahara, so you can't just go into the mikveh. There are certain tumas where you could go into the mikveh and wait a few hours, wait till the next day. But there's a lot of tumas for the kahanim to have that they're going to have to wait. They're going to have to wait a long time. How are they going to? How?
Well, I never know all this question.
Okay, there's a lot of
Okay,
other questions.
hold
Let's stick to a specific thing. We can't answer everything.
Oh, because I want to ask this question for him. Like, what about lechem aponim? You have to have lechem aponim. You have to have the menorah. The mishpash is going to come down with all these things.
That's the
ready.
idea. Yeah.
And if they're going to be ready, then it's like Hashem's doing malach on Shabbos, on Yom Tov.
Listen, we gotta have a
Who's taking
shir
these breads?
in every detail. Now we're going to figure out who's building the Beis Hamikdash.
Hashem can make.
So
like,
according to
make
Rashi-
Shabbos.
According to Rashi and according to Toisus also, Rashi and Toisus
It's
both say the Beis Hamikdash should be built from Shemayim.
There will be two. We build one, and the Beis Shamayim will sit on ours.
Right.
Only if there is someone.
We do the foundation, and he,
Yeah. And he's going to bring us good bread.
like Moshe Rabbeinu did. with-
Now, by the
Like-
way,
we do a little bit.
Yeah. And what books this? Don't worry. Hashem will worry about.
He will answer.
He'll answer.
He wait 2008. He never answers.
Hashem can do.
by the way, Toisus brings
Which is it?
Toisus brings when I can look inside the Toisus, but yeah, Toisus says that the second answer he brings up in Mefarish that the second answer when it says in the Gemara said the 15th before Beis Hamikdash was built before Shkia. There's a certain Mefarish that says because of all the shilas of building the Beis Hamikdash and Yom Tif and everything and getting all the things ready, he says that it means the 15th. It means to be it means Erev Yom Tif. It means Erev Yom Tif before the Shkia of the 15th. Before the Shkia of the 15th, which is a Doichik. So Taisa says, you don't need to be Doichik so much. You don't need to push in this Pshat. Beis Hamikdash is coming Momaila. We anyways have problems about all these shilas about night and Yom Tov. We have already, we know the Shish coming in Hashemayim, Taisa says. So we don't have to make any Pshatim. The Gemara said the 15th, it's on the 15th. You're now building Yom Tov, it's coming in Hashemayim. So Rashi and Toisus both conclude. So here we see Rashi and Toisus feel it's going to be coming from Shemayim, and that answers up all the shilas in the story.
I think it's Pella.
However,
Maybe
Believe that
not.
Hashem's going to give us that Beis Hamikdash on Shabbos.
Why? He's
Yom
not
Tov.
building. We're not allowed to build. But the
It's
Eibishter
muksa for us though. Before Shabbos, we didn't
for
have
us. But the Eibishter.
Noilad, b'Shabbos, Noilad b'Yom Tov.
Who
Beis
said it
Hamikdash
comes?
Beis Hamikdash and Noilad b'Yom Tov.
What are you talking about? Who says the Eibishter doesn't have it pre-built in Shemayim?
Beis Hamikdash and Noilad b'Yom
Who
Tov.
says it's not pre-built before
That's
Yantiv?
the best.
Why do you say it's built on Yantiv?
Because there's Noilad. It's not built on Yom Tov, but it's a
In the
Noilad.
Beit
And
Hamikdash,
maybe
you
it
can
looks
do a
like
lot of
no,
things
they're
that are otherwise
abundant. We're not going to. There's already know they're abundant. So it's
You're not allowed to make a bracha on a nace. You can't make a bracha on a
You
nace.
make shechita, you do tires.
okay.
You could do
Rabbi
something
say,
else.
I want to take a look.
But in the Beit Hamikdash, there's no such thing.
It's muksa.
No, I'm saying in the Beit Hamikdash, you can do a lot of things. that
Shvusim,
otherwise
that you're
were
allowed.
prohibited.
No shvus in the mikdash.
Yeah.
No,
And even
sure.
with the writer, you can in the Beit Hamikdash they slaughter, they make
If a guy
fires.
brings, if the Havdil, guy brings bread on your Shabbos table, you let us start eating it on Shabbos. He brought it to your house.
That's in your house. It's not in the Beit Hamikdash.
But you're getting bread here that was baked on Shabbos or Yom Tov.
So what?
Okay, come on, Rabbi. So let's say it's a very interesting Aruch Laner. The Aruch Laner. Yeah, next page. The Aruch Laner. Very chashuv
from German.
Svarim. Yeah. Yaakov Ettlinger. It's a big Rav. And very chashuv Svarim. Aruch Laner he has on Shas and he has Bikurei Yaakov Sukkah and Lulav. A very big Talmud Chacham.
He's from Bamberger.
And
They were reprinted a few years ago. In the nice
German.
yeah, this is from the copy from the nice print.
My brother-in-law did
It's
it.
the one that Huh?
My brother-in-law did it.
Oh, really? He's a printer?
He's in Svarim. People pay him to put out.
Okay, we'll have to talk after the shir. So Lamaisa, Azoi, the Aruch HaNer is very bothered by this. He's saying to me the Beis HaMikdash is coming from Omayla. He found a lot of Makoiris, which it seems clear it's going to be built by people, by Dei Adam. So how do we fit this together? Let's take a look. In the left column, the top of the left column, he's explaining Rashi, B'dibra Masla Inami, Rashi Inami that we read before. Bani Meshuchel, Rashi is going to be built, coming down for Shemayim. He says to Rashi with this, Af Shagam Tois Ritva Skimuza, even Toisus and the Ritva, another Rishon, agreed to Rashi. Lani is Daiti Doichaku, the Farish Gemara came. It's very difficult for me to accept such a pshat in the Gemara. The Lashon of Gemara is the Beis HaMikdash will be built. It's going to be built. Lefi Devi Rashi, it's not going to be built. The Beis HaMikdash should be revealed. It's already built. It's in Shemayim. It's all built. It's just to come down.
It's like Mashiach.
So, v'chein haloshin to Ivni, the Ka'amar Masha being a mamish. The Gemara has said, when is Amos Ivni? When is it built? Was it the Ivni B'shitzar, the Ivni Hamesar? Is it built 16? They built this 15. The Gemara is a lashon building. It's going to be built. Masha being a mamish. It seems to be it's actually going to be built. V'chein lakaman. There's also a Gemara later on in Sukkah, 10 blot later. The Gemara is an interesting Gemara. Man ninu dalu chershim. The Gemara mentions there are 4 carpenters. Look up the Gemara over there. It's probably a pasuk or something. They're being doirish that there's 4 carpenters in history. Omani, who are the 4 carpenters? Some of those that are counted are Mashiach ben David and Mashiach ben Yosef. They are called carpenters. Chershim. Mani, Mashiach ben David, Mashiach ben Yosef badayu. Upirish Rashi. Rashi explains, Mashiachim shneim, the 2 Mashiachs, ben David and ben Yosef. Umnin, they are craftsmen lebinya Beis HaMikdash, to build the Beis HaMikdash. Ayin Shem. Why does the Gemara refer to them as carpenters? Because they're going to build the Beis HaMikdash. So they're carpenters. They're in charge of building. They have to build the Beis HaMikdash. So Rashi himself actually explains why Mashiach B'dam Hashem is called carpenters, because they're going to be building the Beis HaMikdash. V'im kvar bani meshulchol yed lamata. If it's already built and it's just going to come down, my umashayip bazeh. What craft work is possible over here? Mm-hmm. Furthermore, he keeps improving his point. We say Mishnah is Tamid. We also daven this in all our tefillos. We say we daven to Hashem, it should be built. You tefillah shav, these are all like false tefillas.
Because it's already built.
Shekar it's already built to. What are you asking? It should be built. It's built. It's in Shemayim built. So therefore, he has a very geschmack pshat. He wants to say, put both of them together. He wants to fit both shittas together. Rashi Toises and the Ritva, that it will be built in a Shemayim. On the other hand, all these Gemaras and all these different tefillas, it seems is going to be built b'dei Adam. He wants to fit it together.
One quickly. Pashut, when we say Min Shemayim, like we just talked till now, does it mean we're picturing every keli in the Beis HaMikdash?
I don't know, but the actual building will come down. The Kalim, I don't know.
Because that's what it says.
Well, that's what the kids are taught, that every mitzvah is another brick. So they're making bricks in the Beis HaMikdash.
I understand craft. When it says craftsman,
it's kaviyaho.
It's mashma from the word from saying carpenter that they would be called builder. The fact that uses this lashon is mashma more the kalim inside.
Maybe they're just putting the carpet.
Cherish is used also for stones.
Putting down the carpet.
Therefore, it seems to me, it definitely will for sure rebuild a physical building by humans. This it says in the pasuk, Mikdash Hashem koinu yidecha, that the Mikdash Hashem, your hands established, that you built the Beis HaMikdash. It's a pasuk. Shenish v'tanchuma, the tanchuma is dairish on this, the medrash yeri lamata, that's going to come down lamata. Who Beis HaMikdash ruchni? That's the ruchniistic Beis HaMikdash, the spiritual Mikdash. Sheyav v'letoich Beis HaMikdash haniv v'gashmi. It's going to come into the physical Beis HaMikdash that's built by humans. Kineshama l'teicha guf. It's like a neshama of the guf. The guf of the Beis HaMikdash is the buildings actually built by humans. the neshama, what's going to infuse it with the ruchnius and the godliness and the spirituality of the Beis Hamikdash? It's not just a regular building. That's coming. Hashem's going to bring him in Hashemayim.
What does it?
And he has an example. It says it's a mitzvah to put a fire on the Mizbeach. On the other hand, it says that there's a fire comes from Hashemayim. So what happened? They both came together. The fire you brought down here, and in that fire came down a fire from Shemayim. This pshat that I'm saying, it seems in the Mechilta that this is a pshat. The Darash b'pasuk machil l'shivtecha pa'alta Hashem shebeis hamikdash shel ma'ila michuvan keneged beis hamikdash shel mata. It seems that the Beis Hamikdash Shel Ma'ila, it corresponds to the Beis Hamikdash Shel Mata. So it means there is two Beis Hamikdashes, Shel Ma'ila and Shel Mata. Seems to be like what I'm saying. This is what the Pasuk Hamikdash Shem Kan Yidecha Shel Asala V'Kishiyimlech Hashem Lo Yilam Vod. When Hashem will reign forever, Le'eni Kol Ba'Yelim, before all eyes of everyone in the world. Yishkin L'Mata B'Toich Mikdash Kvar Bonihu U'Mechuven Keneged Beis Hamikdash Shel Mata. It's already built, and it corresponds to the Beis Hamikdash Shel Mata. And it's Yered L'Mata Toich HaMikdash Yibanim. V'ayim B'Zoyer Parsha V'Yeshem Mashal Shem Kain. Also, the Zoyer, it seems to be like what I'm saying. Just like in the earth, there's no neshama without a guf. It needs to have a mikdash ruchni. Won't be without a mikdash gashmi. That's what we see. We refer to the Beis Hamikdash of La'aseh, the future, with the language binyan, building. Now, Mashi Shloime, the very, very big question on this Archaner, very geschmackish tickle. What's very difficult is, we had Rashi and Tosis' questions. You're not allowed to build by night. You're not allowed to build by on Yom Tiv. You're not allowed, the Beis Hamikdash is not doiche Yom Tiv. It's not doiche. You're not allowed to build it at night. So, if we go Rashi and Tosis, because they were bothered with this kasha, they said it's not going to be built by humans. It's not going to be b'dei Adam. It's going to be b'dei Shemayim. Comes Al Archaner and says, I can't accept it's going to be b'dei Adam. Ichad, it's going to be also b'dei Shemayim. B'dei Adam.
How can you argue with Rashi?
Amen. It's going to be, it's not halacha. You know, we'll see when the Mesish will
It's
come.
an Achronik. How can you argue with Rashi and Tais?
He offers a different pshat. In pshat and limud and gemara, you could offer a different pshat. As long as it's not going to go to halacha. You could even interpret a pasuk in Torah against how Chazal interpreted it. You don't have to say Chazal's pshat. Chazal mefarish taish a certain pasuk one way. Mefarishim on the pasuk, each one learns their own way the psukim. As long as it doesn't change halacha, you could. Not only that, I can tell you even more. You can even allow it to change. Ibn Ez, the Rashbam, explains which is a pasuk referring clearly to tefillin, and that's how Chazal understand it. Says the Rashbam, it means to tie it to your heart, put it close to you, keep the words of Hashem close to your heart, keep it in your head. Nothing to do with tefillin. Either Rashbam didn't put on tefillin, of course the Rashbam put on tefillin. As pshat in the pasuk, you can learn one way. Chazal have a Masorah, and how you have to halachically, what's pshat, it's one zach. But the Torah is pshat, rem is rosh soy. As pshat, I can say my pshat. So my Tzadar Chaner wants to say his pshat. So he says, the Vaila is not just a stira. It's not just a stira. He's saying is, I'm going to put them both, I'm going to say, it's Sai b'dei Adam and Sai b'dei Shemayim. The problem is we have to remember, what forced Rashi and Tosis to learn it's b'dei Shemayim? Why did they not want to learn it's b'dei Adam? Because they had two very big kashas on the Gemara. The Gemara offered two answers when the Beis Hamikdash will be built. Either the night of the 16th, or the 15th before Shkia. The problem that Rashi and Tosis had is that these two are problematic times for the Beis Hamikdash to be built b'dei Adam. The night of the 16th, Ein Boinim Binyan Balayla. You're not allowed to build Beis Hamikdash by night. As well, building on the 15th, the second answer, is a problem of building Yom Tov. So that's why Rashi and Tosis were forced to learn his Beis Shemayim. Comes L'Archaner, and he is very nice to Yukim from many places that the Beis Hamikdash is going to be built physically, and therefore he wants to say, put it together and say it's going to be both B'dei Adam and B'dei Shemayim together, but we're back to square one. How are we going to deal with the shilas that Rashi asked, that you're now allowed to physically build the Beis Hamikdash by night and a Yom Tov? There's still, according to the L'Archaner, it's going to be physically built B'dei Adam. How can it be physically built? Rashi's pshat tells me it's not going to be b'dei adam. They shemayim. Okay, I understand. The two kashas are gone. But according to the Aruch now, that brings us back to saying it's b'dei adam and it's b'dei shemayim. I'm back to square one on the Gabbat the Shaila. So therefore, he finishes off the last line of the Aruch there. He said, "Mashiyesh loymar." What there is to answer, by Yisha Kushi Rashi answered the kasha the Rashi asked. Shein being in Balayla in Alabal Beis Mish by night, but Yom Tiv Kasaf to the Kamatois. In Toises later on, I'm going to speak about Tois. I'm going to answer it. I'm going to give over. I didn't copy. It's a long shtickle. It's hard to learn it. I'm going to give over outside the nekuda of how the Aruch Haner wants to go on his own track, his own mahalach, to give a very actually geshmak pshat in this Gemara here, to explain how this Gemara will fit with his pshat, that it will be built by B'dei Adam and B'dei Shemayim, and still not a contradiction to the Gemaras that ain't bayin nabayis b'layla ve'ain bayin being b'yomtiv.
And which part is said first? The Beis Hamikdash will be built from Shemayim first, or B'dei Adam and then the Shemayim?
No, B'dei Adam first, and then the B'dei Shemayim will come into the B'dei Adam. It will come and clothed in like an neshama and
But it's
tagof.
already built already in Shemayim.
Yeah, it's there, but coming down here, it will only come down here revealed when we will build B'dei Adam, then it will come like the Eish on the Mizbeach. First, the Kohen will light the fire, and then a fire will come Shemayim. Shemayim like a lion. Now, when he says like this, the Aruch Haner like this, this takes a little bit into halachas of Hilchas Yom Tif. The Isra building on Yom Tif, is it Deraisa or is it Derabanan? He brings a Toisus in Shabbos, that there is a machlokes in a Gemara Shabbos about in Gemara Shabbos a machlokes about certain malachas on Yom Tif, whether or not you chayiv min haTorah for these malachas, or only midrabanan. One of the malachas is megaben, making gvina, making cheese on Yom Tif, creating cheese on Yom Tif. Is this issa deraisa, issa derabanan? The Chachamim say, Rabbi Eliezer says that it's also min haTorah to make cheese.
It's one of Lamitat Melachos.
What is it included under? The Gemara asks,
Order.
and the Gemara says it's boina. Rabbi Eliezer held it's a form of building. Making cheese is building something.
But it takes
Like
months,
making
a
weeks, weeks.
Like
It takes
a
weeks.
bricks.
You're not really building on Shabbos. You're just separating, but it doesn't happen on Shabbos.
So maybe if you do the final process, or maybe help the process, I'm not sure. Not
Right, in
but
other words, it's Isaac. It's not a.
are there cheeses that go quicker?
Not in a day. You can't make cheese in a day.
Process.
Now they have chemically ways, which probably they could do it in a day.
Yeah, but not then.
So Lamai says Zoy. It's probably meant to, so doing part of the process. You're helping the building towards it. Even a little bit is built going, putting in one nail, right? You're getting ready.
It's a told.
So Lamai says Zoy. Rabbi Eliezer held it's megabin making gvina is chayiv on Yom Tif min haTorah. You chayiv malchus, and the Gemara explains because of boina. The Chachamim disagree and they say it's only a shvus, only asim midrabanan. Atois explains. Doisa says that if you would make, what would happen if you would build something on Yom Tif? Let's say you would make the cheese on Yom Tif that it could be edible on Yom Tif. So it's oichel nefesh. I made oichel nefesh. If I do it for tomorrow, for the next day, for Yom Chayil, okay, I built without any purpose for today. But if I did, let's say, the final process of the cheese, so I did it on Yom Tov in order for me to eat the cheese on Yom Tov, so I had my milchigs and shvuas,
You're allowed to.
right? So it's oichel nefesh. It's oichel nefesh. So explains Toises that in such a case, when you do be a malacha of baina on Yom Tov, it would be mutter. It would be min haTorah mutter. Min haTorah, it would be mutter.
It's Pikuach Nefesh, Yochel Nefesh, I mean.
Min haTorah, it's mutter. Now, it's only asa midrabanan if you couldn't have done it. If you couldn't have done it out of Yom Tif. Midrabanan, we don't want you leaving it all for Yom Tif. So you have to have done it out of Yom Tif.
The trapping. You're not Yom Tif because you could do it before the trapping.
But if you had no choice, you have to do it on Yom Tif. It wouldn't be asa min haTorah for oichel nefesh because oichel nefesh is mutter on Yom Tif. Now, Toys actually concludes over there interesting thing that let's say someone needed a building, his house collapsed on Yom Tif, and it's heat is boiling down on him, and he built on Yom Tif his hut. He built himself a hut on Yom Tif, so he shouldn't be boiling hot or rain, whatever, cold, whatever. He built on Yom Tif. Would he be chayiv min HaTorah or not? So Toys explains that this rule is, I don't get into Hilchos Yom Tif so much. We're in Hilchos Beis Hamikdash, but mitoich shehutra l'tzayrach hutra shalei l'tzayrach. Min HaTorah, once something is mutter for tzayrach on Yom Tif, it's even mutter shalei l'tzayrach. Even not for oichel nefesh. So once I say I'm allowed to make for the gvina, for the oichel nefesh for today, I'm allowed to build the gvina, do a malacha binyan, boina for oichel nefesh today, shet tzayrach. Mitoich shehutra l'tzayrach. Then min HaTorah will be mutter even if it wasn't for a tzarech of oichel nefesh. Even if it's not a tzarech of nefesh. Once something is mutter, it's mutter all over. According to Tosfos.
We don't pass it that way.
Right, but according to Tosfos. So therefore Tosfos concludes actually that in a case where someone's house fell down, right, he had no house, so he needs to build himself a place. So he built himself to a place that he could sit and have a suda and everything like that. So min HaTorah there'd be no problem, because since you're allowed to make something binyan for gevina, we see gevina would be mutter to make gevina binyan l'tzorech oichel nefesh, even though now it's not for oichel nefesh. It's shaloi l'tzorech, min HaTorah would be mutter. And a yois that I didn't know my house was going to fall down at Erev Yom Tif. I'm not going to have we're talking you have nowhere to go. Let's say you have another house to go into your neighbor, but good. But if you're in an island, you have nowhere to go, nowhere to protect yourself. So then you have efsher, you have no other choice. So there we know Chazal, we're not geyser, and you can build yourself your hut. And that's a toisus. Anyways, I want to get into the case of the hut. I want to get back to the case of the general concept. Mitoich shehot l'tzayrach, hot shalei l'tzayrach. Means it's motem HaTorah. That's Rabbi Eliezer's shita. Chachamim held Gevina b'chlal is not chayim m'shambayna. Gevina is just a derabban. It's not boyin. That's not binyan making cheese. That's not binyan. So Chachamim in the Gemara and Shabbos held, that's how the Kain Shabbos held. It's not binyan b'chlal. It's just midrabban. So the whole heter mitoich shehut l'tzayrach, hut l'shalei l'tzayrach is only according to Rabbi Eliezer. Rabbi Eliezer held that Gevina is a form of binyan. And you'd be chayiv if you made it for the next day, but if you made it for that day itself, it's l'tzayirach oichel nefesh should be mutter. And there you can apply the rule mitoich shehut l'tzayirach, hut shalei l'tzayirach. And therefore, if you do another building on the Yom Tif, build yourself another building, it would be awesome in HaTorah. Even if I just went and built a building, it would only be awesome in Derabanan. If I had no other hut, no other place to stay, it would be even mutter in Derabanan. It's only according to Eliezer's shita. But according to Chachamim, that Gevina is not awesome mitzad binyan, it's just awesome midrabanan. You don't have this whole heter. It wasn't hot l'tzayrach. Gevina is not mitzad binyan. It's nothing to do with binyan. So the machlokes in Shabbos and Tosfos in Shabbos. Says the Aruch HaNer. You know who Rabbi Eliezer was a Talmud of? Rabbi Eliezer was a Talmud of Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai. Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai in our Mishnah here, that the Gemara is discussing his opinion, that he made these takonis, Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai, he's Talmud of Rabbi Eliezer. Rabbi Eliezer held that Gevina is mitzad boina. And therefore, if you do it for Eichel Nefesh, it's mutter. And mitayich shotel l'tzayirah, shotel shalei l'tzayirah. Comes at the binyan on Yom Tif. Someone builds a building on Yom Tif, according to Eliezer, min HaTorah there's no problem. Mitzvah you can't build. Min HaTorah, once you're matter l'tzayirah to Eichel Nefesh, for Gevina purposes, even shalei l'tzayirah Eichel Nefesh, you just want to build, you go and build yourself a skyscraper, it's mutter min HaTorah on Yom Tif, according to Eliezer. So says the Aruch HaNer, you know why the Gemara gave two answers here? You know why the Gemara gave two answers? These two answers, each one is for Rabbi Eliezer and one is for Chacham. The Gemara in this Gemara said, when was the Beis HaMikdash built that it would be problematic? Either on the 16th at night, you won't have time to be ready for the morning, with the Karban Omer. It won't be ready before Chatzos. That's why you have to ask the whole Yom HaNoif. Or the Gemara has the second option, Inami, it was on the 15th, before evening. What are these two options? Very strange options. The 15th, right before Shkia, one at night. What are these two there? And Rashi says, Hainu Hach, it's both he, they're both the same type of answer, the same Nakuda. You won't have time for to make it before Chatzos, the Bezdin. Says Aruch HaNer, these two Inamis are going with the Machlokes of Eliezer and Chachamim. The second answer that said that you're allowed to build it on the 15th on Yom Tif. I ain't boining binyan b'Yom Tif. The halacha of ain't boining binyan b'Yom Tif is going like Chachamim. But like Rabbi Eliezer was a Talmud Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai, min haTorah you're allowed to build on Yom Tif. Mitayich shehot letzorich oichel nefesh, the gvina which is binyan, which is binyan according to Rabbi Eliezer. And you're allowed to do that, make vina loichel nefesh, l'tzayrech or t'shalei l'tzayrech min haTorah. It's only asim d'Rabbanan to build on Yom Tif. Binyan Beis Hamikdash, Chazal must probably were not geyser. They weren't geyser for Binyan Beis Hamikdash. It's only d'Rabbanan. It's not a deraisa. It's not a deraisa. So the second answer that said you're allowed to build on Yom Tif is going up on Eliezer. But why does he bring the first answer? That it was not on Yom Tif. It was not on the 15th, not on the 16th. That's going like Chachamim. Well, they're taka the majority, right? The Chacham hold that Gvina, making Gvina is not usher because of Binyan. Nothing to do with Binyan. It's also midrabanan. So the whole limud of a heter that you could build on Yom Tif doesn't apply because Gvina has nothing to do with building. You can't make this whole limud. So the Chachamim hold you're not allowed to build on Yom Tif. It's an Isam and Torah. You're not allowed to build on Yom Tif. That's why you have the first answer in the Gemara. That it was built on the 16th by night. That is step one. Now we dealt with Rashi's kasha, says Aruch HaNer. How could it be built b'dei Adam? Very pasha, it could be built b'dei Adam, according to the second answer. According to the opinion of Rabbi Eliezer, it could be built b'dei Adam.
They're allowed.
According to the opinion of Chachamim, in a Chanami, then it would only be shaykh by night. But now we have the second kasha Rashi and Tosfos. Second kasha Rashi is on the first answer of the Gemara. How can you say we're building at night? Ein echanami, it's not Yom Tif, but there's also a halacha in boyim binyan balayla. You're not allowed to build the Beis Hamikdash by night. So I have a different problem now. The Yom Tif issue of the second answer brought me to the Yom Tif issue I dealt with. It's following Rabbi Eliezer holds there's no Isam in Torah building on Yom Tif. No Isam in Torah, and the issue d'Rabbanan is nitzcha because of the Beis Hamikdash. But the first answer posed the problem to me. 16th by night is the night time. Night, you're not allowed to build Beis Hamikdash because b'yom hakim Beis Hamikdash. Beis Hamikdash has to be built daytime, not night. So the Aruch HaNer brings us to another machlokes. He says, you know what's very interesting? He says every time in the Torah we find the Mishkan and the Kalim are referred to separately. It's the Mishkan and there's the Kalim. As a Mishkan, ves Kalim. Separate. Mishkan and the Kalim. When the Gemara said, when the Gemara says in Shavuos that you're not allowed to build a Beis Hamikdash by night, the Mishkan by night, it's referring to the Mishkan and the Mikdash itself. But the Mizbeach, the Kalim, and the Mizbeach included is one of the Kalim, can be built on Yom Tif. There's no Isser. Because it says, B'yayim Hakim is Mishkan. Who said that includes Kalim? Only the Mishkan itself is Chal that Isser. But I'm allowed to build the Mizbeach. So it comes out, I can build the Mizbeach. There's an opinion of Rabbi Yeshua. There's a Gemara which brings Rabbi Yeshua in Megillah that Rabbi Yeshua says, even though there's no Beis Hamikdash, you do not have the walls of the Beis Hamikdash, as long as you have a Mizbeach, you're allowed to bring Karbanis. The sheet of the Rambam, by the way, that today's days you can build a Beis Hamikdash if you have a Mizbeach. It's a Machlokes Tanoim. Do you need to have the Mechitzas, the walls of the Beis Hamikdash, or is the Mizbeach alone enough? The Rebbe actually was choishish for this shita, and that's why he wanted to originally, after they conquered 6-day war, after they conquered Yerushalayim,
the Jewish people should go out from Yerushalayim.
The Yidden should leave on Erev Pesach, and on Pesach Sheni should be out of Yerushalayim from Chatzos and on until night, because it could be a chiyuv that we have to now go build a Mizbeach and bring a Karban Pesach. After 8 years, when it was clear that it's not going to be, it's not a Yiddish hands, it's not going to come to Yiddish hands, the Yidden fully gave it away. The government fully gave it away to the Arabs.
Moshe Dayan.
So
The
Rebbe already wrote a letter that he's chayzer and you don't need to, no more need to. But until then, there were members of Anash that were leaving Yerushalayim. Now, so says the Aruch HaNer, even at night, there's not an issue of, there's no shayla building the Beis HaMikdash. We're talking about you can build the Mizbeach itself. And you can build you can make bring the carbon on the Mizbeach itself. Bring the carbon on the Mizbeach itself. And that is no shayla building at night. Building at night, being in Balayla. Because it's not a Mishkan. It's a Keli. But again, this only goes according to the opinion that holds that you're allowed to bring karbanis with just a mizbeach without the mechitzas. According to the other opinion that holds that you need to have mechitzas, you're going to have to taina that's a problem, and therefore you have to build by day. The second answer, 15 by day. So you have both answers in the Gemara help us. You need both answers of the Gemara for both machloikasin. Machloikas of Yom Tif is a machloikas of the building in Yom Tif is min HaTorah or not. Machloikas Hachamim and Eliezer. Eliezer holds it's not also min HaTorah. So the second answer goes over Eliezer, you're allowed to build on a Yom Tif. The first answer saying only build by night is going like Chachamim that you're not allowed to build on a Yom Tif. We have a machloikas. What do you mean? There's a sheet of the holes that you have to. You're not allowed to build the Beis Hamikdash by night. That's only the Beis Hamikdash itself. But the mizbeach could be brought by night. Built by night. It's only a keli, and I could bring karbanis on it even without mechitzas. So this is the way the Aruch HaNer deflects the kashas of Rashi, and therefore he feels he wants to stick with his learning that he wants to learn. It's going to be built both b'dei Adam and b'dei Shemayim. Obviously, this is not fit to be shoynim. It's just a very geshmake mahalich to learn. It does not fit with. It's a whole building that he built up over here in a big pilpul. It's not based on Rashi and Toisus and the Ritva. All clearly seem to be learning. It's not going to be b'dei Adam because they want to deal with these shaylas. Aruch HaNer has lumdisha ways how to deal with each one of these kashas, two kashas of Rashi. He figures another way. You should just know that the Rebbe many times mentioned this idea that it's going to be a joint effort of something l'mayla from the Shemayim and from the Mata. He doesn't necessarily have to be saying it in Rashi and Tosis. You can't learn that way. But in the Medrash, by the way, the Medrashim are not talking about the Medrash Tanchum is not talking about the Gemara and Sukkah. So it's something you could learn this way. We have to go to Ma'ariv now, but I'll say outside, the Rebbe says, why do we need that the third Beis HaMikdash? Why is it? Why is it coming from above, from below? What's happening over here? What's going on over here? What's the purpose of this? The Rebbe says, what's the main chiddush of the third Beis HaMikdash over the first two? What's the main chiddush? A third, what's the main thing?
Mashiach.
What's the main thing? There's going to be a Beis HaMikdash, a third Beis HaMikdash. What's the difference between the third and the first? It's gonna be forever. This is not gonna be destroyed again. It's nitzchi. Not like the first, not like the second. Since it's not gonna be destroyed, it has to be a building. In order for it not to be destroyed, it has to be built by Hashem. And even built by human beings are not forever. So if it's a human edifice, a human building, it's not gonna be nitzchi. It has to be min hashemayim, a being in a kutchabrichu. Hashem built something, it's here forever. Hashem built something, it has a koyach nitzchi. On the other hand, it's not only going to be built min hashemayim, also come b'dei Adam. Why? Because
It's chiyut. You need both in order to be netzach.
in order that the fact that it should be everlasting is not just something min hashemayim. It's everlasting even from our perspective. From the perspective of we know that everything Hashem does in min hashemayim, but we want it to be Beis HaMikdash. Down here, this world should be forever. So therefore it has both aspects. It has the aspect that we have an input in the Beis HaMikdash. We build part of it. Either the whole thing is built like the Aruch HaNer, or there's other pshatim that will build part of it. The rest will come in Hashemayim. The Rebbe offers different interpretations. But you need both aspects. Sai, you need the mata, that we should build it, and Sai, you need the ma'ila that should come in Hashemayim, and that gives it its nitzchios. It's an everlasting. So Taki, we should be zoyichet to what the Gemara says in Maheda Yibana Beis Hamikdash.
Amen.
Amen.